Welcome, dear friends, to my quiet study. The old leather chairs beckon, the scent of well-worn books hangs gently in the air, and outside, I believe, a steady, measured rain has begun to fall, a fitting accompaniment to our reflections. It is a pleasure to have your company once more, especially as we turn our thoughts to a matter of profound and enduring importance: the mastery of our temper in a world that often seems determined to provoke us. Life, as we know, presents its share of tumult. News headlines scream, traffic snarls, technology frustrates, and the actions of others can, at times, grate upon our very souls. In such an environment, the impulse to anger, to frustration, to a sudden outburst can feel almost natural, an unavoidable consequence of our surroundings. Yet, the ancient Stoics, whose wisdom we often explore here, taught us that this need not be our fate. They offered a pathway to an unruffled soul, a citadel of inner peace impervious to external chaos. Let us consider, then, 3 profound Stoic lessons that can guide us in cultivating this serene disposition. Our first lesson, and perhaps the cornerstone of Stoic thought, is the dichotomy of control. This simple, yet immensely powerful concept asks us to distinguish between what is within our power and what is not. We control our judgments, our intentions, our thoughts, and our actions. We do not control external events, the opinions of others, the weather, or indeed the often maddening behavior of our fellow human beings. Think for a moment of a common provocation. Perhaps someone cuts you off in traffic, or a public official makes a particularly egregious decision, or even a loved one expresses a view that deeply offends your sensibilities. Our anger often flares when we perceive an external event or person as wronging us, as something that should not have happened. But in doing so, we are attempting to control the uncontrollable. We are fighting reality itself. The Stoics urge us to pause. Before anger takes hold, ask yourself, is this truly within my control? Can I change the past action, the other person's mind, the traffic? Almost invariably, the answer is no. What is within your control is your reaction. You can choose to interpret the event as an assault, a personal slight, or merely as an indifferent fact of the universe. You can choose to meet it with frustration or with a calm acceptance of what simply is. When we internalize this, when we genuinely accept that our peace is shattered not by events themselves, but by our judgment of them, the fuse of anger often fails to ignite. We withdraw our emotional energy from the futile battle to control the external and redirect it towards mastering our internal landscape. Secondly, let us consider the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This is not a morbid dwelling on misfortune, but rather a robust mental rehearsal, a strategic preparation for life's inevitable challenges. We often become angry because we are surprised by adversity, because our expectations of a smooth, predictable day are rudely shattered. The Stoic sage would advise us to anticipate potential provocations. Before stepping out into the world, take a moment. Imagine the busy high street, the demanding emails, the frustrating bureaucracy, the differing opinions at the family gathering. Acknowledge that people will be imperfect, that circumstances will be less than ideal, that technology might fail. When we mentally prepare for these eventualities, when we consider them as part and parcel of human existence, their actual occurrence is less likely to shock us into anger. It is like a seasoned sailor preparing for a storm. He does not wish for the storm, but he knows it is a possibility, and so he checks his rigging, secures his cargo, and prepares his crew. When the winds rise, he is not surprised or thrown into a panic. He is ready. Similarly, when we mentally rehearse potential irritations, we build a psychological resilience. We deprive anger of its element of surprise, transforming potential shocks into anticipated challenges, met with a calmer, more considered response. This does not mean we become cynical, but rather realistic and robust. Finally, we turn to the lesson of the view from above, or a wider perspective. Often, our anger is fueled by a narrow, self-centered viewpoint. We see an event solely in terms of how it affects us, how it infringes upon our desires, our comfort, our sense of justice. The Stoics encouraged us to elevate our perspective, to imagine looking down upon ourselves and the situation from a great height, as if observing from the heavens. From this vantage point, our individual grievances often shrink in significance. We see the vast interconnectedness of life, the transient nature of our own existence, and the shared human condition that binds us all. Consider the person who has provoked your anger. What are their circumstances? What struggles might they be facing that are invisible to you? Perhaps their rudeness stems from ignorance, from fear, or from their own deeply ingrained suffering. When we adopt this wider, more empathetic view, it becomes much harder to sustain intense anger. We begin to see not just an antagonist, but another human being, perhaps misguided, perhaps struggling, certainly imperfect, just as we ourselves are. This universal perspective fosters a sense of gentle detachment, replacing personal indignation with a broader understanding and, often, a quiet compassion. These three lessons, the dichotomy of control, the premeditation of evils, and the view from above, are not quick fixes, but rather disciplines that, with consistent practice, can profoundly transform our emotional landscape. They offer us the tools to dismantle the architecture of anger, brick by painstaking brick, and to build within ourselves a sanctuary of profound peace. Now, I invite you to remain here for a while. Let the quiet rhythm of the rain beyond these windows be your companion. Close your eyes if you wish. Breathe deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs and gently release. Let these thoughts settle in your heart, allowing their wisdom to permeate your being. The silence is yours.